Ron Rosen in the morning. WRJN.
And good morning. This is what I call WRJN's historical marker. These are people who worked here in the past. We're coming up to the 100th anniversary of WRJN. December 6th of next year, we begin our 100th year. And we're trying to get all the people that worked here over the years before it's too late. I hate to say it like that, but before it's too late, because, you know, it's a reality. People pass away. And when you're dealing with a 100-year-old radio station, you lose a lot of people. So we're not going to do that with Tom Mountin today. He's our WRJN historical marker number 14. And joining us is our former news director, Tom Karkow, who's got all the history of everybody. So Tom is here when we do these. And thanks for joining us, Tom. See, there were two Toms here. So Tom Mountin.
Tom.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. I do appreciate you coming down here. So you still work, but you work at the casino, right?
Right.
In Milwaukee. What do you do there?
Concierge.
Concierge. Oh, I like the way you said it.
We have an 1833 club, and I sit at the door and make sure that they belong in the room.
Let me see if you're on the list or not.
Yeah.
Don Rosen.
Goodbye.
You're the muscle? You're the muscle?
Not the bouncer. We have security.
Okay.
Let's see, Don Rosen, you're not on the list. Security, please.
Guys, him.
So let's talk about your years here. Now, you started here, according to Tom's notes. You didn't remember when you started here, but you actually started in 1987. How'd you wind up here?
How did I wind up here?
Yeah.
I went back to school at the age of 30. I went through the radio degree program at Gateway. And we were just talking about Dick Whelan. He was my instructor there. And we had a radio station right there connected with the school, which was WGTD.
Still there?
And I said, why aren't we working over there? You know, the students, I mean, getting some experience. So I opened the door one day and walked in there, and they hired me, and that was really my kind of official start in radio.
But how'd you get here to WRJN?
Well, I set out resumes everywhere, even Pennsylvania, Oil City, and Franklin, Pennsylvania. I think they're the Twin Cities.
Oil City.
Yeah, Oil City. And I got there, and I spent the overnight, and the next day I went back to the station, and I said, well, how much were you thinking of getting, you know, as far as a wage? And I said, I thought, no, don't get too crazy, Tom. You know, this is your first time out. I said $4.50 an hour.
That's about what I'm getting now. Yeah, not far.
And the guy said, "Oh, we reserve that for our top people."
Man.
I said, "Okay, well, goodbye." You were just doing that routine about, you know, something talking, and on the door I went, "Yeah, goodbye." Oh wait, I got you.
Something like that. So who was the program director here when Tom Mountin started?
That's an 87 program director. That would have been.
You're not ready for that question, were you?
Wasn't it Ron?
I think Ron
Richards was our program director.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's who hired you, Ron Richards?
I assume.
Or the GM at the.
I'm 73 now, Don. I have short-term and long-term memory loss.
So who would have been the general manager then?
In 87?
Yeah.
That was Dex.
Dex Card? Okay.
Dex Card was the owner general manager.
Now, when you came here, were you a talk show host or a disc jockey?
Music.
Just disc jockey?
We used to have the FM right in here running on reel to reel.
Yeah.
The cassettes.
And then every once in a while, you know, they'd get messed up. The tracking would.
Yeah.
And it would introduce Dolly Parton, and, you know, some other person would come on singing. And then you have to go in there and then run this one and then try to get that thing back on track, you know, rewinding tape and
it was the reel-to-reel tape decks and the carousels and the cartridges and the whole 9 yards.
Oh, yeah,
that was Dex Card.
Yeah. And we even have the cartridges in here. just so we have to remember where we came from.
Your public would look at that and say that's an 8-track.
Yeah, it's not an 8-track,
no, but
we
it's
have to,
similar.
We have to remember where we came from in this business.
Yes.
And this is where we came from.
Hey. Oh. You want to go way, way back? Let's talk about the 78 records that were recorded with programming on them. Not just music, programming,
except
talk stuff.
I didn't come back that far.
No.
Okay, so you came here to WRJN, and we know you as a talk show host. When did you switch over to talk? What happened there? How'd you become a chatterbox?
Who was the gentleman that was on before me doing open line?
87.
Frenchie Bouton.
Frenchie, before Frenchie.
No, it was Frenchie Bouton.
It was actually Frenchie?
Yeah.
Frenchie did usually afternoons. Bob Cook. It went from 87, let's see, Jim Bradley in 87, I believe. No, 87, no, it's not. Who is that? It was Ron was doing mornings.
Oh, okay.
Because it went from Jim Sorensen to Dave McGrath, then to Jim Bradley, then the ownership change, and then I believe it was Ron doing mornings. And after, I think Bob Cook was still around because Bob retired in the 90s.
Oh, I remember Bob. Yeah, I should bring that up. Yeah, he had very
and after
health
that,
issues.
it would get to the early afternoons and then eventually to Frenchie.
One day I came to work and they dropped me in
Here.
on open line.
Now, Open Line was a talk show. Literally,
1 hour.
anybody can call in.
Right. And we didn't have any delay.
But I know. Don't now we could say that. Now you had guests at one point too. You had the mayor.
We were just talking about that. Chief Poseen, Mayor Jim Smith.
Did a lot with Racine Unified.
No, I actually
No?
did. Well, yeah, I did some things with Racine Unified, but National Night Out Against Crime was the one I.
But you know what's different? You didn't do any controversial talk like they have today.
I couldn't.
where 50% of the people are going to hate what you're saying, and the other 50% are going to love it. No matter what you say, it doesn't make a difference. But
Right.
you didn't have that kind of talk show.
No, it wasn't that way at all. It was more just local. School board, Bernice Thompson.
We'll maybe get to that in a second.
Okay.
Why don't we play something from? We've got some things of what you did back then, and give people an idea of what you sounded like.
Cut
The
number
first
one?
one. Yeah,
Let's do
try
this.
that.
All right.
Buy, sell, trade, give away, or search for a hard-to-find item. It's all possible with Tradio. Every Saturday morning from 10 a.m. till noon here on AM 14 WRJN. Hi, this is Tom Mountin, and I'm looking forward to taking your Tradio calls Saturday mornings at 634-9756, 634-WRJN.
Did stuff on weekends.
Same phone number, by the way. Not this shit. So,
That's when we did stuff on the weekends.
yeah, I was about to say you had to work weekends.
Oh yeah, one Saturday off a month, I think,
Something like that.
something like that. Yeah.
And Tradio was like a swap shop
Yeah,
type of
yeah.
show, which we used to have it for years. The problem was now you got the internet.
Yeah.
And it was so much easier to do swapping on the internet fast. You didn't have to, you just say, this is what I want. And 1,000 people came up and gave it to you from all over the country, all over the world. So that kind of did in the swap shop shows.
And those are the kind of programs that we did back then. And it wasn't unique to this station. I mean, many stations around the
swap
country
shop, yeah.
did similar things. They just called it something different. So that's the kind of thing that Tom would do on a Saturday when he had to. Or he would do also, let's go to number 2, and there would be things like talking to your legislators.
Ask Your Legislator is back on AM 14 WRJN. Hi, this is Tom Mountain, and Mondays are now reserved for our representatives in Madison. I'd rather stay closer to home. I'd rather be talking about issues that affect us directly, than focus on some type of national issue. I like to bring in the legislators, the local officials, and talk about stuff that's happening right in our own backyard, and that's what we can do with Ask Your Legislator.
Again, there's a show that couldn't tick off anybody. I mean, you can ask but it wasn't like today where
You're
it's
talking
so
to your local
volatile when you do a
representatives.
talk show. Yeah.
Yeah. And that little clip of you talking, explaining why you like to do that came from the 70th anniversary program we did at Memorial Hall in 1996. Remember that? No.
Wait a minute. Let me see if I can find it. This all brings back memories. Yeah, the legislators. I like that because then they could ask them the questions and we could have the answers right there, whether they liked it or not, the answer, but we could have a direct contact with the legislator and the listener. And that way, you're not getting secondhand information from me or one of the listeners. We're getting it straight from the legislator. And I think that was more helpful than anything.
Did people come to you to get on the air, these legislators, or do you have to go out
Sometimes,
and get them?
yeah.
Were they knocking on your door?
Not that too often.
They weren't knocking on your door?
Not really.
Because today, a lot of the people knock on our door. Not everybody, but yeah, they want to come on.
I don't remember that happening. I mean,
It was a lot easier, I think, back then to get those lawmakers on the air.
yeah.
Because there was no internet. Now they can go on Twitter,
right.
X,
They can
whatever
do
it's
live
called.
feeds and
They
things
can
like
do
that.
everything. They can get on with podcasts. It didn't exist back in the 80s.
Did you talk to the congressman from this district at all?
Sure.
Was that Les Aspin?
What was that again?
Was that Les Aspin?
Yeah, I had him on a couple of times.
Wow.
Yeah,
Did
a
he bring
couple
the-
of times. Yeah, Les Aspin. Gosh, who was our assemblyman?
Oh man, it's
Yeah, no,
there's so many.
Was Les Aspin, was he Earth Day? Who was Earth Day? That was Gaylord Nelson. Gaylord Nelson.
Les
Yeah.
Aspin was well known in this community
Yeah.
for a lot of things that he did for this community.
Well, I heard of his name, and I wasn't even living in the Midwest at that time, and I heard of Les Aspin.
Les Aspin got the first air show
Yeah.
in this town.
That's what I remember.
the
right.
Blue Angels on the lakefront, because I believe at the time, was he defense secretary at the time, or he helped get had a lot of pull to get the air show and the Blue Angels on the lakefront and the military.
Here's something you did a lot of: remote broadcasts.
Right.
We did a ton of those where you go out and you do the radio show from a store, from an event.
Well,
wherever it
I used
happened
to
be.
did mornings with me. We did mornings together. We did.
Was it with Kurt?
Yeah, Kurt Vollman.
Kurt Vollman,
Right,
who's
right,
still
right.
on the station here.
Right.
Now he's
does
back.
I would go out and go into people's kitchens and feed them breakfast.
Did you really?
Yeah. We'd go I interview them at the kitchen table.
People's homes you went to?
Yeah,
Whoa.
we'd go to a certain restaurant. I'd come in with the hash browns.
I do remember that. I remember.
Yeah.
But
That
you
was
went. You
good.
didn't, yeah, you went out and brought it over their house. I do remember that.
Yeah, it was fun. That
You
was
both went out?
no, it was just me. And remember the
Kurt was back here, and you were.
remember the
Oh, you were the Jim Fowler to Marlon Perkins.
Yeah, I do remember. I remember when you did that. Yeah.
and
Wow.
you one of the best things that we did was Kurt Vollman. I don't know if we were talking to anybody from the military, but he talked about doing the military push-up. Where you
I have that.
Push up and
Yes.
yes.
And you're counting them off.
Yeah, yes. And then you gave me the phone number for the local recruiter, and then we got him in here, and we made Kurt do the push-ups on the air.
The recruiting office was like over at the old Shopko complex.
Oh, okay.
In the Westgate Mall. And they didn't have to go that far. Come on over. Yes, they had two Marines. Was it two Marines, right?
I think so, yeah.
And Kurt Vollman did push-ups in the studio, and Tom counted them off.
Yeah.
And we used that on one of our
Not the
anniversaries.
ordinary push-up. I mean, what was a push-up and clap, wasn't it?
Were they? I was about to say, were they real push-ups?
Oh,
straight,
yeah.
Oh,
straight
yeah.
back,
yes.
bending?
No, they're real push-ups. He really
You
did
got
it.
two Marines
Well, let's get
standing
him in
there,
here today and do some more.
Well, when the other anniversaries get closer, we'll maybe resurrect that, and Kurt can listen again.
I remember you were in this studio once when we were having an FCC inspection.
Oh, no.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
We had it happened twice when I was here, and both times I had to usher the FCC inspector around. And we don't want people to talk to them. Just let them go about their business. They check the files, they check the station, they check the equipment, they check. And I remember they came in here, and your license wasn't. This is when you had to have licenses on the wall. Your license was missing, and I remember I said, Tom, the FCC guy said, who's this guy in the air? I said, Tom Mountin. I said, where's his license? I said, where's your license, Tom? And you said it was WGTD. And I remember your response was, should I get off the air? And he said, no, just sit there. Just get us a copy of it. And the funny thing is, it had been there. You took it down to bring the WGTD. And I said, whoa. And the FCC guy said, I saw him writing. We didn't get a fine or anything for it, though. But
That was back in the days when you didn't. It was like in court. You don't offer up anything. You just answer the questions if asked. Right?
I just walked him around. I said, where do you want to go? Show us the file cache. Show us this. Show us that. I said, okay.
And then there's a missing license.
And then I walked in here and he looked up at the licenses. He says, who's he? And because there was an empty space. And you took it down. Anyway, so we didn't get fined or anything for it, so that was okay. What's the third cut on here?
Oh, we got
A good time?
a little time, sure.
Okay, I just want to make sure we get them all in.
There was one time in 1992, as a JT Journal Times story that talks about you meeting an older woman at Festival Park at an event for, you're broadcasting for something, and she had a different vision of what you look like.
I remember that. I tell that story.
Based on she listened to you all the time.
Right.
And then she finally met you, and she was kind of dumbfounded, right?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
You didn't look like you sounded.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay. I thought you had audio.
No.
No. It was, I believe, a political rally.
Okay.
at Festival Park, and the lady came up to me and she goes, "And you're Tom Mountain?"
With that look of what?
I said, "I'm sorry, I'm not blonde hair and blue
I
eyes."
expected somebody good looking. If I was good looking, I'd be on TV. I'm on radio.
That's right. There's a reason we're on the radio.
Face for radio.
Yeah. Wow. So you left here in the year we threw you out of here. In what year was it?
14 years I was here.
2000.
Yep.
Okay, you left here in 2000. And where'd you go? Why'd you leave radio?
I went to the dog track.
Why didn't you?
They put me in the newsroom.
Why'd you want to leave radio though? Just 'cause
yeah, that too.
what was that?
Money.
That's called money.
A little more money.
It's called money. A little more money.
Yeah, because you
I
did a great
found
job.
the dog track.
What'd you do? Feed the dogs and walk them? What'd you do?
You were an
I was an
announcer.
announcer.
I know. So you
And
looked
I
at-
ran their Gold Club. I did some marketing.
at Dairyland Greyhound Park in Kenosha.
Put ads in the programs. Put ads together.
Were you there?
Did party with the puppies.
Sounds like just about in radio, doing everything it had to, right?
Yeah.
So when you were there, you left there. Did you leave before it closed down, or you left?
No,
when it closed
I stayed right to the end. We even went to Madison. We gathered the bus and took all our employees down there and tried one last little push to,
Keep it open.
keep it open, and it never happened.
That must have been hard, having to work through those times because you kind of knew the end was coming.
Yeah, yeah. And then I just decided to. I was out of work for a little while, and I decided to try my luck at some of the local casinos.
No pun intended, right?
Yeah. Yes, pun intended. But and I've been at Potawatomi now for 15 years.
Whoa. We did a broadcast from there once with John Tesh. And they come with all this radio equipment, and security comes running all over the place. And we had permission to be there. And so I gave them a name and said, all right, because they were coming in with boxes of equipment.
You don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I gave them the name of the person, and I said, all right, you're clear. So we came with all this equipment, phone equipment and everything, and we did a whole radio show with John Tesh from there. As a matter of fact, from Potawatomi, I hosted, I was the host for John Tesh, who appeared there, and my co-host was Jane Matinaire, who worked for another radio station in Milwaukee. It turns out she also works here now at Radio Park for WAUK, which is in our other studio here. She works there every morning, Jane Matinaire. So it's a small business. You never know you're going to run into people again. That's why you shouldn't yell at people and tick them off, because you never know when you're going to work with them again.
Especially now, it's a lot smaller.
So you never had the radio bug again, huh?
No, not really.
Huh. I never got it out of me.
I guess I got it out of my system.
Wow. Okay. And you live in Milwaukee now. You moved out of Racine? Oh, you live in Kenosha?
I live in Milwaukee.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's good.
It was in we touched on the fact that you left the announcing part per se and then shifted into the newsroom.
Right.
That was a case of we had an opening and you gave it a try for about a year, right?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
It was tough for you, and I know that.
Oh yeah. I mean, at 3 in the morning, sometimes you'd be here till like 3 in the morning, writing stories for
me.
the morning for the
I don't
morning
remember
show.
you in the newsroom.
And then I'd have to be back at 11 o'clock
Yeah.
in the morning to start my shift. So
don't
I just
remember
couldn't.
that.
I couldn't keep that kind of schedule.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Why did I block that out? I don't remember you in the newsroom.
Well, I do remember that, and I know you. It was difficult for you, and you worked hard at it, and that was very much appreciated. And then eventually he left, and things transpired.
It's been 25 years. It's been 25 years. I can't believe it.
So you weren't in radio that long, though. 84, what, 87?
87.
14 years I was here.
14 years.
14 years.
I remember you came back here, and you did one more show on a Sound Off you hosted one time, and you didn't like it. You said, I don't want to do this. And because we tried to bring you back, because you're such a great talk show host. You had a great talent for it.
Well, thank you.
And we hate, there's a lot of talent in the business, but when you run across it, you don't want to let it go. And we didn't want to let you go. And you just said, no, I don't want to do it.
But he did show up for the anniversary.
Yeah, but we gave him, we wanted him to do a talk show back on the station again. He didn't want to do it.
He didn't want to do a Frenchie thing. Where Frenchie would show up every summer and do on-air work.
Yeah, Frenchie did half the year in Largo, Florida.
Yeah.
He was the lounge lizard, Frenchy Bouton. He had an organ or a
Everywhere.
piano, electric piano.
Yep.
Yep.
And him and his wife went around to all these clubs, and he was the lounge lizard. He was the guy who played the music, had jokes, one-liners, and then moved on. Then he worked here. In his off season, he worked here in radio, Frenchy Bouton. He's also a legend. People still ask him, where is he? Well, Frenchy passed on.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people. Well, we're talking to Tom Mountin today. Tom was our talk show host for years did a midday talk show on WRJN. And also joining us, Tom Karkow, former news director. Did you work any other jobs before radio? What'd you do?
Grocery store.
Oh, that's
My family
right.
was in the grocery business.
That's right. Mountain
Yeah.
Piggly Wiggly, right?
Right, yeah.
I forgot about that. In Mayville.
Mayville, Wisconsin.
Really?
How did I remember?
Juneau, Wisconsin.
I can't remember where I left my car keys, but I can remember you worked at Mountain Piggly Wiggly
No,
in
I
Mayville.
didn't work for my brother. He
I
didn't
know,
want
but
me.
You own Mountain Piggly Wiggly in Mayville.
My brother, yeah. My brother is
How did I not know? Is it still there?
the grocery magnet. No, it's in the hands of a company out of Oconomowoc. I can't think of he sold the store. My brother is 10 years older than me, so he's happily retired.
It's not Ralph Malicki, is it?
No.
Because I know he still owns the Piggly Wigglies.
I can't think of it.
Okay. Well,
The buyer out of
I forgot about that. You started,
Oconomowoc.
so how come you couldn't work in your own grocery store?
He's my brother.
He knows the truth about you? I don't want my brother, and I know what he's going to do. He's going to mess up everything. He's going to put the cereals where the oatmeal belongs, and he's...
No, but it didn't work out.
Oh, okay.
So I ended up at Viking Village up in Reedsburg, Wisconsin. I spent 10 years there.
in Reedsburg.
And then I have arthritis, and I couldn't do the job anymore. And they were nice enough to help me out and put me in touch with.
Put you on a bus and get you out of town?
Well, no, with the Department of Rehabilitation.
Yeah.
And I went back to school and took a 2-year course at Gateway,
So where were you born?
1952.
No. Where were you born?
Juneau, Wisconsin.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So you're a local yokel. You were born
Oh,
in the
yeah. I've
state.
been Wisconsin born and
right.
bred.
Where'd you go to
bred
school?
and born or whatever.
Where'd you go to high school?
Juneau High School.
Okay.
We were the last class to graduate from Juneau High School. It became a consolidated district after that.
See what we're learning here today?
Wow.
See, you didn't know this either, did you?
No.
Yeah.
Wow, this is interesting.
We had 50. You were just saying you had 950 in your graduating class?
970. Yeah.
970? We had 50.
A lot shorter ceremony.
So right out of high school, you went into the grocery business in Reedsburg.
I attempted to go to college.
Attempted. It didn't take? What?
No.
Where'd you go? Where'd you want to go to college?
I actually went to Eau Claire for 1 year.
Okay.
Okay, so everything's pointing away from this area. So how do you get down to the Kenosha-Racine area?
That's a good question.
Well, that's why I asked it.
Well, it's a long story. I'll condense it.
Give us the good version.
I eventually got out of the grocery business. I ended up at, of all places, Kentucky Fried Chicken. And the place that maybe I shouldn't even mention it. But anyways, they were building a grocery store in Reedsburg,
Okay.
called Viking Village. And one of the girls that I worked with at Kentucky Fried Chicken, she said, "You deserve better than this." She said, "I know the owner of that store. Call him and see if you can get a job with him." And to make a long story short, I called him up. He interviewed me, and I ended up working at Viking Village for 10 years. And then my arthritis got so bad that I couldn't do the job anymore.
Okay.
And then I ended up with the vocational rehabilitation through the state, and they were able to put me through school. And I did a 2-year degree program at Gateway, and then I ended up I wanted to do radio all my life. I grew up with Bob Berry.
Oh.
Who we just had on the air here a couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
And I loved his shtick. I loved the way he ran the show. And I wanted to be the next Bob Berry, you know?
Yep.
And
You're not the only person to say that, by the way.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who got into radio because of Bob Barry.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, WOKY.
Yeah,
You bet.
Yeah, so he started in Hartford playing polka music.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
WTKM.
that's where it is, the Kettle Moraine.
Polka station.
That's where he started working at. And then
Thank you, boys.
Then he
Thank
came down
you,
to
Myron.
Milwaukee. He worked at all the Milwaukee stations. He sounds great. He sounds like he did back in the 60s, Bob Barry.
telling me that, yeah.
Yeah, he hasn't changed one iota. He was great to have him on the air. And Chris Morrow, who's the president of our Southern Division here at Civic Media, he worked with Bob Barry. He was the overnight announcer, Chris Morrow, and he had to set up the morning show. And he said the first morning he was sweating because here's a legend coming into the building.
Right.
And this poor little teenager's got to set up the studio for him. And he worked with Bob Barry. So I had Chris in here when Bob was on the air with us. So that's what made you want to get into the radio. You wanted to be a Bob Barry, huh?
While I was going to school, I found the job at WNNO. And
Now that's in Wisconsin Dells.
Wisconsin Dells, and they had I can't do this, but they had a window, you know, like you could watch the people make fudge.
Yes,
well, they could walk by and they could see me in the studio doing my show, and one girl walks by.
Oh, okay. You can get.
Oh wait, no, yeah, right. It wasn't. It was a very derogatory gesture.
Yes, I'll never forget that. Never.
So I didn't know you worked at the Dells.
And then one day, I actually left the front door unlocked, and I turned around, and here's a guy standing right behind me. And I said, "Sir, I can't have you in here." And I thought, this is going to be trouble. You know, he said, oh, okay. So he just left. He turned around and left. I don't know what prompted him to come into the booth, but they kind of scared the heck out of me.
So what did you do? Work at Tommy Bartlett's water show? Doing
nothing
ski show
like that.
after and the weekends?
No, just I filled in. I basically filled in, did weekends.
And how old were you when this was going on?
No, I was making $2.50 an hour.
How old were you?
20s?
30.
Oh, 30.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, 28, 29.
That's a fun place to work, the Dells. Not in the winter, but during the summer, it's a fun place
There's
to
a lot
work.
going on.
Yeah, okay.
Question. It made me think. Did you ever have to sign on the station here? Doing the morning show?
Before it was 24 hours.
Filling
yeah.
in before, for somebody who's on vacation or sick or
Well,
something.
I did the morning show with Kurt Volman.
But not, signed on. We signed on at 5:30
Yeah.
at that time.
Yeah, because I think it went 24.
I don't really remember.
A lot of stations went 24 hours during the Gulf War. And because they, now they had to keep everybody
Continuous
abreast.
coverage.
So they kept, and when they went 24, they just stayed 24 hours.
But before that, it was 5:30, and we signed off at midnight. And I was just wondering if you did the early. You probably can't remember
at all.
The person who was on the board the night before had to stack up all the carts that we would play the next morning. You're on a carousel.
And prepare the morning
You could
show,
pull
yeah.
them out, but you had to stack them all up. And so I wondered if you did the morning thing and say you came in and there were no carts stacked
No.
or something wasn't in place. Wow.
Can't say I remember that.
Amongst the remote broadcasts that you did, you were recognized by Neighborhood Watch. You'd mentioned that before. You must have had really good time and relationship with those folks.
Yeah. Yeah.
You would go out and broadcast the Neighborhood Watch, and they would do National Night Out especially,
Right.
where it would be in August, and they would do all kinds of community events, and we'd go out and broadcast. You would do that.
Right.
And you were recognized by them for attending them and promoting them and doing all. That must have given you a lot of satisfaction.
Oh, yes. With Chief Paulzine.
You were a good community guy, yeah.
Going out in the neighborhoods, it was great. I mean, giving back to the community, giving them a chance to talk about all the things that they were trying to, make these neighborhoods safer. With the community policing was a big thing back then, and the different outlets. One of the there was an apartment complex. I think it was 6th Street.
No
don't tap.
banging. Don't
I'm not banging.
He's tapping.
It's really loud.
Is it really?
Yeah.
No.
Everything vibrates.
Wow.
That's okay.
No, there was a
Cop house, COP house,
what was that?
community-oriented policing house.
No, yeah, it was in that neighborhood, but they cleaned up this one apartment complex.
Oh, okay.
And
I know what
did-
you're talking about.
Yeah, I think it was
Sixth
our
and-
Memorial. Sixth and
Sixth and
Memorial.
Memorial, yes.
Yes.
You know what's really good? It was a community station when you were here, and we're still a community station now. We still have every morning. There's another guest from the community in here. The Racine Traffic Safety Commission. There's always somebody in here, so it hasn't changed. And that's why when Civic Media bought the radio station, they used the phrase "Hometown Radio Refreshed," and that's what we are, Hometown Radio Refreshed. We're talking to Tom Mountin this morning. This is WRJN Historical Marker number 14. We're talking to people who worked here in the past. We want to get them on record, because, you know, they may be subpoenaed someday. We want to get all the information we can on them just in case. Tom Karkow, our former news director, is working with me this morning doing the program. I want to get to these clips. This clip is what now we're going to talk about?
Just play it. Let's see if it sounds familiar.
All right.
Joining me is a familiar voice. I'm sure that he's familiar with the program too, somewhat. Tom Mountin. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Jeff.
And you'll be here to...
I'm the color commentary.
Color commentary.
I'm here to provide color commentary,
Okay,
yes.
to throw in your 2 cents from time to time as well, right?
Yeah, in general. Little hot air on the program here.
In general, you'll be helping me to get to know the ins and outs of the program, right?
Sure.
Oh, that sounds good.
Who is that?
That's Jim Walker, the late Jim Walker.
Oh, that's Jim Walker.
And you guys, he had, I think, been kind of put in the lead of Party Line after Debbie. Debbie left at the end of October of '96, and we had to fill that role. And so Jim was there, and then you were there until we tried something else, and that didn't work. But that's Jim Walker. You guys are trying to do Party Line and take that to the, beyond what Debbie had done to, which was really impossible.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Jim Walker and I didn't recognize his voice. Jim Walker and I worked together at 103.7, the old WEZW in Milwaukee, for 10 years. And when there was an opening here, I said, come on down, because he wasn't working, he was unemployed. I said, come on down here. You're a great announcer.
Yeah, great voice.
Yeah, great voice. I said, what are you doing at home sitting watching television? Get over here. And so we brought him over here, and he worked on our FM, which was an easy listening station. And then when we need Party Line fill-in, he worked there. I didn't recognize his voice.
Jim also did news for us as well, filled in on news.
Right.
It was, we lost him several years ago.
Yeah, Jim Polensky was his name, but Jim Walker's his radio name that he used.
Good guy, really good guy.
Oh, yeah. Wow. I didn't even recognize his voice. Wow, he's got a great sound to him. I forgot. Yeah, a lot of people are not with us anymore, and Jim's one of them. Well,
Let's talk about 1990.
Now you got me all flustered here for a second. Yeah.
You go sniffle in the corner. In 1995, Mr. Mountain here was honored as a friend of education. Horlick High School teacher submitted your nomination because of you hosting the talk show and talking about timely educational and political issues. And in the recommendation, the nomination, he is fair in his approach and welcomes school personnel for their side of the issues.
Right. Well, we'd get comments on the air regarding school board.
Oh, yeah, that was very popular.
Yeah, that was a very, very popular. One person comes to mind.
And we'll touch on that right after that. But yeah, you had a lot
I
of
just
different
thought
people.
it was good to have their side of the story. I mean, so to speak. I mean, it's only just fair to have the educators on to give them a chance to, comment on things that were said over the air. I mean, it's just a good, made sense to me. I mean, it's good to follow up with that.
Yeah. Education obviously is a huge part of everybody, of budgets in a community. And the history of education in this community, especially going back decades, is something that people want to talk about. Mm-hmm. And parents are involved and others are involved. And so you got honored. Whoops. Hello. So you were honored for helping get the word out on different educational issues, from the officials with the Unified School District to the teachers union to even parents. And so that was a nice honor for you. So you mentioned this twice now, a certain school board member. Okay. Do you want to touch on this? Not a problem? You can say it any way you want to, but anyway, 1995 is when you got a certain phone call from a certain school board member. We don't necessarily have to name. And there was some interesting comments made by this school board member. You remember that?
Yeah, somebody should take him out back and teach him a lesson or something.
I remember that.
Something like that, wasn't it?
Yes.
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 And our general manager at the time, Tony Gazzana, actually called the police department because of it.
It was a threat. Yeah.
Yeah, you got threatened.
Right.
I remember
Right.
that.
It made the front page of the Journal Times.
Attention you didn't necessarily want to have.
No, I didn't expect that.
Oh, man, I forgot about that
Oh, yeah.
threat.
Oh,
yeah.
It maybe didn't surprise you given the person who was talking at that time. But it certainly got some attention around here and in the community itself.
Right.
Wow. I got to ask you off the air who that was. I remember. Well, hold on. I can't read lips.
Okay.
I'm not good at that.
Jeez. Okay.
Oh, I forgot about that. You were threatened. And yeah, Tony Gazzana took it seriously.
Well, yeah, he should.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Anytime you get something like that, yes, you have to take it seriously. And now, especially if something like that were to happen.
See, that's why I like doing these historical markers. All of a sudden, you jog my memory on things that, happened years ago.
I don't think anybody would go for you because you're harmless.
I'm a disc jockey. What do I do?
You're more than that.
That's all I am. Just a disc jockey, another DJ.
Before we go, we're going to start to run out of time here. Let's do one more, the sound clip. Now, this is just a throw in and see if you can remember this at all.
I hope the Roto-Rooter commercial comes up because you and I used to dance to that almost every day.
Yes, that little ballroom dance thing. That we did.
we used to sing with it and dance with it. Yeah.
Wow.
That was Debbie Thogerson
Oh, that was Debbie.
at the 1996 anniversary show. You were interviewing the Party Line group, and that's another thing. And she brought up a Roto-Rooter commercial, and you guys apparently used to dance when it was played or recorded.
A Roto-Rooter commercial?
I don't have any idea, but
You've got me on this one.
I heard that, and I said, I've got to bring that in just to see. But
Roto-Rooter.
right.
What do you do? Like the mambo to it? The twist? What are you doing to that?
That particular anniversary show was from 1996, our 70th anniversary at Memorial Hall. You had the privilege of. I wrote this down because I can't remember anything either. You had the privilege of not only interviewing 5 of the 7 Party Line hostesses. We had 5 of them together at one time at Memorial Hall. There's a picture in the Journal Times of that, and you got to interview the 5 of them.
Wow, what an honor.
Yes. You also
The show was a legend.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Legendary.
And the other 2 had left the station many, many years before. Also on that same show, you did a show that day. We all broadcast from Memorial Hall. Mm-hmm. And you also got to interview Polish program host Tony Simchik, Milwaukee radio legends Jack Lee and Jack Baker.
Wow.
Jack Baker, by the way, his first radio job was at WRJN in 1945. You interviewed engineer Bernie Fox, former Mayor Owen Davies, County Board Supervisor Ruth Gedward, who was also celebrating her 70th birthday that year, and remember Norb Trottier.
Yes, I remember the name, yeah.
That's a unique.
That our 70th?
That's the 70th picture that Don is showing to Tom so he can see it. Pictures I've seen so many times.
Oh, my
look
goodness.
Look at the lineup of that group.
Wow.
That's post office material.
No gray hair in that picture either.
Oh, there's no gray hair now, right?
Yeah, well,
This is radio. This is radio.
A little bit. Not a lot. No, not a lot at all. Well, this was just fantastic having you in here today.
Oh, thank you.
What we're going to do is we podcast all these interviews so people can hear them at their leisure on WRJN.com. You can go to just search Don Rosen Show and you'll see all the podcasts. I am so happy you came in, Tom. So happy we got a hold of you. I didn't know where you were. And Tom Karkow said, I think he's spinning the roulette wheel up in Potawatomi. He's the croupier. I am so happy you came in, my friend.
Well, it's great being here.
You look great.
Well, thank you.
You really do. And I'm so happy you're in here. And Tom, every time we do these, I'm so indebted to you for coming in
Yeah,
and helping out.
the notes are quite extensive.
Yeah, he's our muscle. He's our brains of the historical part of this show. Thank you very much, my friends. Tom.
Thank you. It's good to see you, Tom.
Tom Mountain. Thank you, Tom Karkow. Thank you as well.
Thank you.